Well, hi everybody, welcome to The Firewall. I'm Bill Whittle. Well, you must know the story by now. The Obama campaign doesn't have a whole lot of record to run on. The economy's been in the tank for the duration. Overseas, we used to be mocked behind our backs, but after 3 years of Obama foreign policy, they mock us openly now. And the famed constitutional genius's singular piece of legislation, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, is very likely going to be thrown out as unconstitutional. So, what's a demagogue to do? Well, how about create diversions? It's always worked in the past. So for months now, we've heard about mean, evil Mitt Romney, who put his dog on the roof of his car. Well, the Blaze revealed that one New York Times writer talked about this story 56 times, and we'd still be hearing about that until Obama's second inaugural address, except it turns out that President Obama actually, ate a dog. Well, at least one. We don't really know how many dogs he ate. Hopefully, he'll clarify the exact number in his next campaign ad. So let's listen to the great healer explain that in his own words, in his reading from the first of his two award-winning autobiographies, Dreams from My Father.
With Lolo, I had learned how to eat small green chili peppers raw with dinner, plenty of rice, and away from the dinner table I was introduced to dog meat, tough, snake meat, tougher, and roasted grasshopper, crunchy.
Hey, by the way, did you catch the fact that the President of the United States says that he enjoyed his dog meat away from the dinner table? What does that mean? I mean, was he in a park? Was he at a pet shop? I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, our moral and intellectual betters, the poodles and lapdogs at places like ABC News and MSNBC, who'd not shown the slightest inclination to drop the ball when the subject of dogs helped their master, now suddenly tell us that all of this dog nonsense is a trivial, unserious distraction from the real issues of the day, now that the dog in question is not on the roof of Romney's car, but rather on the roof of the president's mouth, as my friend Jim Treacher, who broke the story, has pointed out. But this dog story is not trivial. It's important, and it's important for two critical reasons. Now, first of all, many Obama apologists are howling about the fact that Barack Obama eating puppy chow is an attempt to portray him somehow as the other. Really? You think? Of course he's the other. We've been saying this for years. He may legally be an American, but he's not one of us, and he never has been. His father, Barack Obama Sr., was a Kenyan exchange student who, like so many immigrants, came to seek a new life in America. And unlike so many other immigrants, decided he didn't like it very much. So he went back to Kenya to the first wife he never divorced, and then the man the President of the United States idolized from afar published a paper saying that while America was an interesting place, it wasn't much use as an example to the glorious socialist Kenya he was planning to build. Barack Obama's socialist father then got into a drunk driving accident that cost him both his legs, and a short time later got into another drunk driving accident that cost him his life. Please look it up. All-American boy Barack was raised by his mother, Stanley, who was vocal in her support of communist causes. The maternal grandparents who actually raised the President of the United States had moved his mother from Seattle to Mercer Island so that she could attend what was known as the most radical school in the entire nation, a place scandalous back in those days for openly teaching communism and atheism. They moved there to put her into that school. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that I imagine some of you would have liked to have known that before voting last time. And since the president grew up in a foreign land, he also attended foreign schools, as I did. He in Indonesia and me in Bermuda. We have his registration form. It's one of the few documents we actually do have on the All-American boy, probably because it was buried in a filing cabinet in an Indonesian school. And it shows him registered as a Muslim. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's not newsworthy in any way. Now, as a student in a Muslim school, which is not up for discussion, the president very likely would have had to pray to Mecca many times a day, in the same way that yours truly had to sing God Save the Queen every morning. Praying to Mecca every school day may not have made him any more Muslim than me singing God Save the Queen every school day made me British. However, when my American father realized I was growing up fairly British, he took me to the U.S. Naval Base, which was active in Bermuda at the time, and got me enrolled in Little League Baseball and the Cub Scouts, where I learned the Pledge of Allegiance, where I learned to put my hand over my heart during the Star-Spangled Banner, and where I learned to hold up my fingers like this and say, I promise to do my best, to do my duty, to God and my country, to be square, and to obey the laws of the pack. And I think I've succeeded, especially the part about being square. You know, we don't have any evidence that young Barack Obama did any of this kind of stuff, and I'd feel a heck of a lot better about the man who sees nothing exceptional in American exceptionalism if he had. And if he had, Then which God and which country? And the only pack he ever had any intimate association with was a pack of cigarettes. Of course he's the other. How many people do you know that have eaten a dog and then bragged about it in that condescending, I'm so much more worldly than you tone of his? Both this president's parents despised what we consider to be traditional America. And all of this is on record. I'm not only not asking you to take my word for it, I don't want you to. I want you, in fact, I dare you to go and look this stuff up for yourself. Actually, you know what would be convenient as hell to have? If only there were professional people who went around and dug up information on important figures and then put them into one place where common citizens could read it and make up their own minds. I'll tell you, somebody could make a lot of money doing something like that, I reckon. But if the people who used to do that sort of thing for a living want to talk about Mitt Romney's dog 56 times, fine. Let's talk about dogs. Which brings us to the second thing. President Obama talked about how obscene it is for a rich person to pay a lower tax rate than his own secretary. Only Obama, who is a rich person, paid a lower tax rate than his own secretary. Boy, that's an inconvenient truth. He's always talking about fat cats too. Hey, don't worry, Mittens, he's a dog man. And the evil rich and all of that stuff. You know, that Obama sure talks a lot of class warfare for a guy born with a golden lab in his mouth. This petty, divisive, mean-spirited man in his campaign also tried out the Republican war on women until conservatives pointed out the raw filth that liberals spew about women like Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachmann pretty much every day. And then Democratic operative and 35-time White House guest Hillary Rosen said that homemakers like Ann Romney never worked a day in her life, and so on. Now you see, this time we're fighting back. That's the second reason this dog story matters. And this time, all of these cynical, destructive, petty, race-based, class-based, gender-based distractions have blown up in this president's face. You know what? It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And if you want to keep messages like this coming, why not go to declarationentertainment.com and become a citizen producer today? I'm Bill Whittle. We'll see you next time on The Firewall.